Hello, welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today I have the pleasure of having with me Jerry Girardi from Beach Chimney Sweeps. Welcome, Jerry.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on the program. The weather's getting cooler, and I know I'm thinking about chimneys too, about possibly starting to light one or two. So I guess this is a good time of year for you as far as getting calls for people.
Things it definitely picks up between now till just before Christmas. It snowballs, so right till people run out of money.
It's like feast or famine, huh?
Yeah.
So I guess that's good. You got the summer off, maybe a little bit. Can you give us an overview of Beach Chimney Sweeps? I mean, I kind of think we probably have an idea, but go ahead and tell us what you do.
Well, what I do is go and primarily check out fireplace chimneys, clean them, get the buildup out of them, make sure there's no bird nests and all that kind of stuff, and make sure the chimney is safe to use and there's no cracks or loose mortar or anything like that that would make the chimney unsafe to use, and just give people peace of mind. And
you work on the south side, right?
Primarily, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you've been doing this a very long time.
Sure seems that way. 1983, 32 years now. I got a couple years left in me, I hope.
Yeah, well, we're 31, but we got in business about the same time. Okay, all right. Well, first of all, let's start off with why does a chimney need to be clean?
Well, a chimney and firewood, when you burn the wood, there's contaminants, residue that builds up on the inside of the chimney. And a lot of it goes out the top of the chimney, but a lot of it does stick to the sides of the flue when you're up inside the smoke chamber area, and that'll catch on fire eventually if you don't get it, if you let it build up enough, because it's fuel, it's unburned fuel that will catch on fire.
So it'll catch on fire in the chimney itself?
Yeah, and you don't want the fire in the chimney, you want the fire to stay in the fireplace, so you need to get it cleaned out. Plus the draw of the chimney, when it builds up like that, you wouldn't think of it, but smoke actually slides up the chimney, and if the sides get built up on them and it gets rough, it does impede the draft of the chimney, and it'll start puffing back, smoking in the house. And plus you get an odor, especially when it's humid in the summertime. Mm-hmm. You cut the AC on, it draws air in through, and it pulls that air through the chimney, and it smells like to me, like a campfire kind of thing in the house, which you don't really want.
Right. So someone calls you to, now you do both chimneys and even wood stove type chimneys?
I sure do.
Okay, all right. Okay, and they call you to come out and clean it. What's the process for that?
Okay, well, there's a different process for wood stoves. Now, wood stoves are more complicated because they have to be moved usually, especially like an insert stove that sits inside a fireplace. You have to pull that out to get up in there because that's a major area of concern right above the stove. And for a fireplace, what we do is shovel the ashes out, sweep the inside of the firebox where you have the fire, up, run the brush up, clean the flue all the way to the top, check it out for any cracks or loose mortar, any damage. If there's no chimney cap, then there's no telling what you're going to find. I've found over the years, you wouldn't believe what I've found inside the chimneys, from tennis balls to ducks to birds' nests, leaves, just anything a roofer can drop down the chimney too when he's up there. So just to make sure the chimney is safe. But the most important thing is to have a chimney cap on there to keep the rain out, because the rain is what just eats the chimney up. It'll eat the mortar up, it'll seep into the mortar, loosen up the bricks, rust out the damper, and cause a lot of damage.
Okay, and you do minor repairs to the chimney, and certainly you would refer any larger repairs that you found? Have you found
I have
major?
people that I can refer major repairs to, but as far as me getting in there after the chimney's clean and repairing cracks and dampers and stuff like that, I can do a lot of that.
Okay, and I already had asked you prior to the interview whether you sang and danced on the rooftop, but you don't, right?
Well, for the right money, I would do that, yeah.
Okay, I'm just teasing with you. So what is the main problem that you find with chimneys in this area?
Well, again, not having chimney caps and the water gets down and just deteriorates the chimney really bad. But then there's there are a couple of kinds of chimneys. You got masonry brick chimneys, and then you have the prefab chimneys that are covered in siding on the outside, and the pipe goes up through what's called a chimney chase. There's just a big empty space. It's like a simulated chimney, but it's got a triple wall pipe inside of it, like a pipe inside a pipe inside a pipe. And it has a metal cover on the top of it. And water will sit there. Maybe when they built it, they leaned on it and it's indented, it's concave, and water sits there and it rusts through. And once that happens, the water just, the rain starts running down, rusting out the pipe, the firebox, and then you're going to have to replace the whole thing because there's no repairing it. So that needs to be maintained, cleaned up, and painted. And if it does rust through, you need to get that replaced as soon as possible.
You can tell all this when you're cleaning the chimney? You can spot
it's easy to see how water has been entering the chimney if it has.
All right. So what should people know about buying firewood now that that season's starting to come closer?
Well, they need to buy the firewood in the springtime. That way they know they've got seasoned wood, because a lot of times people will tell you the wood is seasoned and most people don't know the difference. But if you pick up a piece of firewood and it's heavy as lead, it's full of moisture, it's going to smoke, it's going to be hard to get going, it's really going to be frustrating. So if you buy it in the spring, that way you can sit it outside, sit it out in the sun so that sun and air can dry it. And a lot of people feel like they need to cover it up, but I tell them it's not going to dry that way. Just let it sit out there, and it's going to be like your fence. When the wood turns gray, it gets light, the bark is falling off, then you got good firewood, because the fire expends a lot of the energy just evaporating the moisture in the wood, so you get more heat out of it, it's easier to light, and it's just better all the way around when you burn seasoned wood. Plus it just really coats, unseasoned wood just really coats the chimney and makes the chimney get dirty a lot quicker.
All right, what about metal zero clearance fireplaces? I have no clue what that is.
Okay, that's what I was explaining with the pipe that goes up through the chimney chase with the metal cover.
Okay, all right.
And they're made of metal, they're small. And, they're not really, a lot of times people trying to have a bonfire in a little fireplace like that is designed for like 3 small pieces of wood, or better yet, just the Duraflame logs that come wrapped in paper that you buy in a box of 12 and you just light them. That's the perfect thing for those small fireplaces. You can burn wood, but you can't have a roaring fire in there because it's just too much for them.
Okay. And are there any other services that you offer?
I do clean dryer vents also. That's something else that's a safety issue, that at least every 2 years you need to get the dryer vent cleaned, because the lint buildup with the heat, that can be a hazard, especially if you're in a townhouse.
I think I read something like a cup of lint is equal to a half cup of gasoline or something. It's very explosive.
I haven't heard that, but yeah, that sounds about right.
A lot of flammability there with lint. Okay, is there anything that I forgot to talk about?
I can't think of anything right now, but I think you pretty well covered it. Okay.
All right, well, with the cold weather coming, if you are in need of having your chimney cleaned and would like to give Jerry a call, his contact information for beach chimney sweeps is at the end of this video, and it's also on the bottom of this page. And I'm sure he can take care of you here if you're on the south side. And it's a good thing to have done, for safety reasons, as well as just making sure that everything's checked out and you don't have any other problems that you don't know about. So I thank you very much for coming in today and being on the program, and I wish you a great deal of success.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right.